Kerala is drowning. Rain. Lots of rain. That's all it took for the state of Kerala to flood in neck deep water. The state has once again witnessed landslides and floods triggered by heavy rains, and things only got worse from there. The dam gates were opened, and a torrent of hell was unleashed on God's own country.
What were the reasons behind the latest flash floods in Kerala? Excessive rainfall was caused by an abnormal amount of moisture built up in the air, which created a low pressure system over the Arabian Sea. These conditions together brewed up such a deadly rainfall in Kerala. What about the weather predictions? Kerala is situated along the western Ghats with the rivers having small catchment areas and steep slopes. Thus, the rivers are flashy in nature and they swell up pretty quickly, leaving a very little response time to issue a conventional statistical based forecast.
But are these the only causes? No, floods are acts of God, but the flood losses are largely acts of man. Years of rampant mining, lack of scientific land use policy, and deforestation further add up to this issue. But what are the solutions? What can we change? Floods are not in our control, but the transformation of flood into a natural disaster is well within our reach.
Ensure effective flood risk management. Since complete immunity from flood is not possible, we should aim at minimizing the risks associated with it. This could only be done when people have a knowledge of the procedures. Mock drills of evacuation training are thus the need of the hour.
Creating a sponge city. Sponge city is built up of roads made of porous asphalt which actually absorbs the rainwater. This reduces flood risk as the city offers more permeable spaces for the natural retention and percolation of water, creating floodplains. Instead of constructing on river banks, floodplains need to be created as they provide the space needed by the rivers to overflow, thereby shielding nearby towns from the effects of heavy rainfall.
Improving flood warning mechanisms. Properly timed warnings of impending storms and floods will not only give people the opportunity to be proactive, but it will also save lives. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Despite best rainwater management practices, we need to learn how to survive in floods and reduce casualties.
If you are under a flood warning, familiarize yourself with local emergency plans. Find safe shelter right away. Stay tuned for emergency instructions or evacuation orders. Put together a disaster supplies kit which would suffice for 72 hours at the minimum.
In this heart-wrenching disaster, it is our rescue forces who have been our knights in shining armor. The NDRF has deployed several teams in the most vulnerable areas, and thousands of people have been evacuated and multiple relief camps have been set up. If saving is their duty, then getting prepared for these disasters is ours. Once the floods and fury recede, there are evidently many lessons for us. We need to take protective measures and contribute in every single way.